Investigative reporter Catherine Falders joins me live now, along with ABC News legal contributor Kimberly Whaley for more on this. Kim, I want to start with you. Can you walk us through why an attorney would advise their client to plead the Fifth in a case like this?
The Fifth Amendment does a lot of things, but one of the things it does is it says that you can't be forced to testify against yourself. You can't be forced to ask questions that could incriminate you, basically admit your own guilt. So an attorney might prep the client, know what the case is about, and be concerned that if the questions are answered truthfully, then the government could then use those to prove that Donald Trump committed the legal violations that are the source of the investigation. Now, it's conceivable that somebody would just be so nervous about being in this situation that they don't want to speak at all because they're worried that it could be turned into something. I don't think that's Donald Trump, given his brazen approach to law, brazen approach to litigation, investigations, congressional investigations, etc. It's a big deal given the psychological profile of this man that he finally listened to his lawyers. And frankly, I think we all should be glad that we have the Fifth Amendment protections. And now Donald J. Trump is employing the Constitution for his own benefit.
Now, Catherine, Trump and his allies are accusing the Justice Department of coming after him for political reasons. But the FBI had to show probable cause before a judge to get this search warrant. So how long before we find out what that probable cause was and what this search was all about?
Yeah, they do, and there's a high bar on signing off on something like this. Look, FBI and DOJ are purposefully being very tight-lipped about this. AG Garland has said that they will speak through indictments. But look, there have been requests to unseal this warrant. We'll see how DOJ responds to that. But the reality is, to your point, that there was some breakdown in the cooperation that happened, that the FBI needed to come in and conduct a raid like this. So we could be hearing more about it in the future. But in the meantime, Trump and his team have this warrant and haven't released it.
Now, Kim, Trump is the subject of several investigations right now, not just these two. So could his answers to questions in this New York case, if he had answered them, have affected those other investigations and cases?
It's hard to say for sure, not being inside them, but it doesn't look like there's any evident relationship between what the state government is doing in New York about his finances, his taxes, what January 6th probe, the DOJ regarding what we know is seditious conspiracy to defraud the United States, lots of serious charges against other people. And then, of course, we have what happened in Florida, which I think is really about classified information. Now, people are calling this a raid. It's a search. It's kind of like, I mean, Donald Trump has no security clearance right now. He had no legal right to have that. So to ask him to give it back, it's kind of like asking a jewel thief to hand over the diamonds. That's not realistic in this moment. We have to keep our eye on the fact that there were classified information here. We know that publicly. We've known that for a very long time. And go back to the Mueller investigation, which found that Donald Trump his campaign was in communication with the Russians, and that the Russians helped get him elected or took steps. So Donald Trump is cozy with dictators. And if there were documents in there that were classified, I think it's fair for the Department of Justice to be concerned about the national security implications. That's really the story here, is protecting the integrity of the United States. He had no legal right to have these documents. They were essentially stolen out of the White House. That's what we need to keep our eye on in this moment.
And now, Catherine, sources tell ABC News that law enforcement agencies around the country are also actively monitoring online threats after that FBI search at Mar-a-Lago. So what's their main concern?
Look, there's fear as it relates to the FBI agents. You've seen Trump release this in statements. You've seen his allies go on television. And look, they're worried about the threats of violence to law enforcement, to FBI agents. You've seen, according to the Trump allies, they've released a name of a judge. There's worry about that. So this is something these groups continue to monitor as there's calls for these protests and as we see protests also forming around Mar-a-Lago.
What are you watching for in these two investigations and some of the others that are developing?
Look, I think that there's a bunch of parallel investigations here, though, on many different topics. We know that many of Trump's aides are appearing before a federal grand jury investigating January 6th. That's one. This is another one, and I think we're going to see what evolves around this archives investigation. We know, according to sources, that Trump has been trying to get more defense attorneys on board as well, Diane.
All right, Kim, Catherine, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.